Afternoon, Fantasy Bay. Mike Williams here with another Week 6 game preview. And today we're going to be going over the Ravens versus the Bengals. Let's get it started. So this game's going to be on Sunday at 1 p.m. And the over-under is 48. And the spread is -11 for the Baltimore Ravens. All right. So let's get started with the quarterback. Lamar Jackson had his worst game of the season. 13 fantasy points. I'm not too worried about this because Steelers always play him tough. Joe Hayden was all over Marquise Brown. And to be honest with you, Lamar Jackson is going to have these games from time to time, but I don't foresee it being a regular occurrence because of his legs. He's going to be able to run and get a bunch of yards with his legs, which is always going to keep him relevant. In this one, he had a terrible game throwing the ball, but, I mean, it didn't matter as much because he ran the ball. So, in the last 4 games, he's averaged 24 fantasy points. In the last 5, which is the whole season, he's averaged 27 fantasy points. He's been amazing. He's allowed to have one off game. He had 161 yards, 1 touchdown on the ground, or in the air, 3 interceptions, which if you watch the game, the first interception, he threw it to a tight end and it popped in the air, interception. Okay, well, that sucks. Then the second one, that was all his fault. He threw it and the guy jumped the route, pick, looks good. Now the third one, the tight end had the ball and, like, for whatever reason, let it go and pushed it a little forward, and then the defender grabbed it. So the tight end should have grabbed the first one. The tight end should have grabbed the third one. The second one was definitely his fault. All right, we're gonna keep moving because you're starting Lamar Jackson. Let's be real. Let's be honest. He's good. All right, so we're going to the wide receiver. So like I said on this one, the Marquise Brown, he didn't have a great game. He played okay. He had 11 fantasy points, 3 receptions off of 5 targets, 22 receiving yards, and a touchdown. Now, I said earlier he was shadowed by Joe Hayden. Everybody knows Joe Hayden is a shutdown corner. But he also, after his touchdown, limped off the field and was in a medical tent on and off for a bit. He's been kind of man the last 3 games, to be honest with you. Week 4, he had 6 points. Week 3, he had 6 points. What's really keeping him in there for the high average is the first game, he had 30 points. Now, what you see the first week can definitely sear into your head. And it's like, oh, that's what this player is. 30 points. Oh, that's what we're going to get. Well, that's his upside, but that's kind of like Deshaun Jackson. And you're not playing him every single week. So don't get me wrong. I think that Marquise Brown is a very talented player. And I think that moving forward, he should be good. But I don't have him as a locked in every week he's going to be great. I think that in great matchups, he's going to perform very, very well because he's very fast. They don't call him Hollywood for nothing. Willie Snead's decent, but nobody's playing him. All right, Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram's been really up and down, but overall he's been a beast. In week 1, he had 22 points. Week 2, he had 9. Week 3, he had 35. Week 4, he had 9. Week 5, he had 12. So it's kind of like an up and down, like a seesaw. But for the most part, you're playing him. I like him this year, and I believe that let's look at the Bengals. How are the Bengals playing against? Oh, yeah, they suck. So the Bengals are terrible against the running back, so I believe Mark Ingram should feast. He's going to go in. The Bengals allow the second most fantasy points, about 30.6 to the running back position. That's fantastic. Start up your Mark Ingram. Hell, you might even be able to start up Gus Edwards. That's more of a flyer, though. He only had 2 points last game. Mark Andrews is a start. He was a little dinged up. I noticed he's been on and off dinged up for the last 2 or 3 weeks, but he's still been pretty decent, excluding his 4-point game in week 3. 9 points from your tight end. That's not great, but, I mean, tight ends aren't great in general. So I think it's an okay game. He didn't kill you, especially considering he got knocked out of the game for a portion and had to come back. Justin Tucker's a beast. You're playing him every week. And I actually think the Baltimore Ravens are a good defense to play this week because Cincinnati is trash a lot of times. And I think that the Bengals are going to make the Ravens look like the old Ravens because the Ravens have not been looking very good recently. All right, let's get over to the Bengals. Andy Dalton. He hasn't been playing too bad. He's been averaging about 16 points a game in the last 4 games. Last game, he had 22 points against Arizona. I expected him to play slightly better than that, but 22 points is a solid game. 262 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, no fumbles. Pretty good. I am not playing him against the Bengals, though. I'm not a fan of that. No, thank you. AJ Green is still out, but I believe AJ Green is working a little bit on the sideline, so I think he may come back in the next couple weeks. I don't know about you, but I've been holding on to AJ Green for a while now, and luckily ESPN lets you put people that are out in your IR spot. He's been chilling there the whole time for me, so I'm very excited for him to come back. But in the meantime, Tyler Boyd has been playing very well. Apologies. Love how many targets he's getting. Love how he breaks away. Last game, he had 28 fantasy points, 10 receptions, 14 targets. He's averaging 10 receptions on the year. Love that. It's amazing. He had 123 yards, 1 touchdown. The man's got some speed. He's big, and he breaks away. And all right, Auden Tate. Auden Tate had a mediocre game. He got saved by that touchdown. Definitely saved by the touchdown. 26 yards, a touchdown, 3 receptions, 11 fantasy points. Meh. I don't know if you really need to play somebody, you can play Auden Tate, but I'm not huge on him against the Ravens. Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon had a ho-hum game. He has not been playing very well this season so far. In the last 4 games, he's averaging 10.7 fantasy points. That's not very good. He hasn't been involved very much in the passing game, not as much as I thought he would be. In the last 4 games, starting at 5, he had 1 reception, 4 receptions, 2, 3. Man, I'd like him to be a little bit more involved. He had 19 attempts for 93 yards. I liked him on the ground. He actually looked very good on the ground. Unfortunately, he's going against the Ravens. The Ravens give up the 11th most running back points to running back, around 21 points a game. That's meh. I don't think I'm starting Giovanni Bernard in this game. Neither am I starting Tyler Eifert. I actually think that's going to be it for the Cincinnati side. I don't see anybody else on their team that I would start. Thank you for watching. Mike Williams, Fantasy Bay. I'm out. Hit me up on any social media. If you have any sort of questions, let me know. Check out the rest of the videos. Mike Williams, Fantasy Bay. I'm out.